Good morning and welcome to another great edition of Money Truth Moments with our very own Money Truth expert, Judy Copenbarger. How are you, Judy?
I'm great. How are you doing, Carlos?
I'm doing fantastic. It's another beautiful Tuesday, and here we are doing another great episode, right? Where you get to share your wisdom.
I'm ready.
How's things going with you?
That sounds great. Let's go.
All right, folks, if you're just joining us, please make sure that you are following Judy at judycopenbarger.today. In today's episode, we're going to talk about financial strategy. We're going to share how business owners can stay profitable and proactive during the slow summer months, right? So today's title of the show is Hot Tips for Business During a Summer Slump. So what do you say we get started?
I love it. Hot tips. Let's go.
All right. So let's start out by saying why do many businesses experience this slowdown during the summertime? And it varies by industry, but
it really does vary. I was going to say some businesses are seasonal. I think for regular people in a service business, or I guess even products too, depending on, unless you're selling summer fun products, right? You're going to be busy. But we're out of our routine. A lot of folks still, we grow up and we have summer off. We're in school during the year. Kids, family that have kids that are in school or school age or college age, you still have that kind of mindset of there's 9 months that we do our regular routine. And then summer, we're planning vacations. We have more visiting, more travel, things get out of the routine. And I think business cycles sometimes follow that. It's like, I don't want to think about my car insurance right now. We're going to Hawaii, So we'll do that when school starts again. We'll do that in the fall, right? In between the holidays and all of that. So I think that might be for many industries, just as a 50,000 foot view, general overview. For a lot of people, things slow down because people are not thinking about the stuff, they're just thinking about the fun things.
That's true. And I think that comes down to then when we don't really pay attention, right? So what are some common mistakes business owners make, usually during the summer season?
Wow. Well, if it is a business that's going to be impacted by slowdowns, if you're in a service business, if you're offering services where maybe you're entertaining clients or you're having seminars or educational events or things like that, in the summer, people aren't going to come. And churches know this, right? Nonprofits know this. All the groups that regularly get together, they know summer is going to be low attendance because everybody's on vacation and they're out of their routine. It's just like, give me a break. This is my break time. So I think if a business doesn't prepare for that, they are going to be in trouble. And there's several ways to prepare. But I think that's one thing you got to think about. If you have a cycle, and maybe it's not summer, maybe winter is your slow time. If you are, let's say you're a field guide for people that go hunting, right? Or if you are affiliated with surfing in the summer and you live in the US, in the winter, it might be a slow time for you. Maybe not. You can go to Australia and keep working, right? But it might be a slow time for you. So anything that's seasonal like that, you just got to plan for that.
And we talk about also, you mentioned before about mindset, right? I mean, we've talked about this in several episodes. And if you're just joining us, better make sure you watch some of these older episodes because this all makes sense very quickly. But how can a small shift in mindset, right, really turn a slump into an opportunity?
Oh, I'll tell you, lessons learned from COVID, right? When your whole world crumbles, everything you know about your business and your reality and your finances changes on a dime, in a moment, in a week, in a month. That COVID thing we thought was going to be a week or two. And then we thought it was going to be a month or two. And then it was a year or two or more, depending on the industry that you're in, the impact of that. But lessons learned from that was to be ready at any time for the big pivot. If you think about the companies and the businesses that did really well during COVID, not every business suffered. Many businesses thrived, many industries thrived. And those were the ones that were able to do the big pivot. They kept talking about what can we do? And I think about just in our neighborhood, we had restaurants that couldn't do ordinary business. Like overnight, they could not do their business. And then they had to put up the shields, and then they had to do outside, and then they had to space every other booth, all that stuff. The businesses that did really well were the ones that said, well, maybe my ordinary way of serving people, they come to the restaurant, we have a meal, they pay the check and they go, maybe that's not possible right now, but what can I do to provide value in my neighborhood, in my community? And those are the businesses that said, well, I still have a lot of milk here. I have a lot of eggs here. I have a lot of things that I can make um, in a germ-free environment where there's not a lot of, people touching and contagion. And because we didn't know back then, how it was going to go. And they're the ones that set up with their employees to keep them working. They set up boxes of the things people need, but they couldn't even hardly go to the store to get, unless you went at 6 a.m. and masked up and remember all that 6 foot apart,
Oh yeah.
have two
Oh
people in
totally.
aisle. That was just a few years ago. It's crazy. But the businesses that did well are the ones that said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to have our people be careful with the germs and the contagious stuff. Put everything in the box that you order and they'll come out to your car, put it in your trunk. You never have to deal with anybody. And that worked well. Now, some businesses are like, I don't want to do that. We have to train our people, do a whole new thing, order different kind of stuff. But the ones I saw in my neighborhood doing that early, I'm like, that's brilliant. They pivoted. They found a new way to provide value, which means provide revenue, keep people employed, and provide services that are valuable for people. And they did well. Businesses did well. And that happened on a big scale too for companies that really thrived. They found a way to serve in a new way, maybe new product lines. Pardon me. They found a way to deliver value that people were looking for that maybe wasn't even there a few months ago. That's how you do the pivot. That's how you can get your mindset. If things aren't the way they were, maybe the industry changed, the season changed, your offerings change, what you can do professionally changes. You're like, okay, we have a whole new blank slate. If I started my business today, what would I do? And then the mindset is, it is possible. This is where you got to get. It's possible to go from what I've always done to doing something in a new way, providing a new kind of value. That's where I think entrepreneurs get stuck because I always wanted to make candles. I didn't want to get into decorating. I only wanted to make candles in my garage, right? But maybe you need to pivot or whatever it is. The pivot, the new way of thinking, the mindset that it is possible to connect the dots and get there.
Yeah, the other thing is also that it's for young entrepreneurs or folks that start out that way too. It's that old saying, right? Well, this is the way we've always done it, and if you introduce something different, it's like panic. Like I don't know how I'm going to survive in all of that, But it's some very good points, and talking about COVID, I don't want to get into a whole soap opera, but yeah, you're right. There was a lot of things that, because of the lack of knowledge or what they were pushing on the messaging, a lot of folks unfortunately fell into that and lost businesses because they weren't prepared. And in the industry, any industry, you always have to have a plan A, B, C, or even D for that matter. Just okay, what if I can't do this? How am I going to survive doing it this way? And a lot of restaurants that I saw just were very creative in how they pivot, how they started doing things, and it was like, okay, they didn't even skip a beat. So kudos to them for sure.
Yeah, and the ones that did well had the not only the mindset and the creativity, they had the means to do it. And so every business should always have the means for a pivot should it surprise you. And what I mean by that is you either have a line of credit available at all times, you have enough savings available to capitalize a new program or a new product line or scaling something to a new level, new customer base. You always want to be ready financially for those opportunities. And if it's a slump, the opportunity is going to be there, and that's when you grab it. We have a relative right now who's in auto parts. He's kind of a big deal, auto part guy. And right now, we were just with him over the holidays, and he said, I am flush with cash, like really big numbers of cash right now, because it is getting really rough in my industry, and I own everything. But the businesses that are still there are going to be selling out, and I'm going to be ready with cash to take advantage of those opportunities. I'm going to just swoop in there and just be ready. And I think every business, whether it's, billions of dollars business or hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars business at any level, I think a good rule of thumb, especially for entrepreneurs in a small business or a closely held family business, is always save some money in reserve for those opportunities. And I think 5% is a good number. You're always saving. It's like, what's it for? I don't know, but I'm going to have it when I need it. So if in your spending plan, you always have 5% that's for the future, maybe not a specific goal, but for an opportunity, always put that away. That's just a good rule of thumb to always be ready and not have to go to borrowing, which is another option, a line of credit or family money. But if you're ready on your own, you can actually be the bank, and not the borrower. And that's a good position to be in.
That's true. And that actually is was going to be part of my next question, but maybe you can expand a little bit about the steps that business owners should take to manage that cash flow, especially when when it dips in revenue.
Well, it's just like at home, if you have a skinny month or maybe, mom stays home to have the baby, and raise the baby for 6 months or a year or whatever, your income was higher than it is now. And that can happen in business too, maybe because of cycles or because of industry, because of COVID, because of anything, right? And so it's just sometimes you have to belt tighten. And I talk to clients sometimes about you're in a season of the bottleneck. You had all this money and all this stuff going on. Now you don't. Maybe your kids are in college and that's pulling on the income, the revenue. And then it opens up again. It's not forever. Nothing is ever forever. And if you say, I don't like this season, just wait, get prayed up, right? And just wait, the season will change and it will be better. And they say that about the weather in Colorado. They always say, if you don't like the weather, just wait 30 minutes. Because in the mountains, it changes all the time. You like the rain here, just wait, it's coming. If you don't like the rain, just wait. The sun is going to come out. The birdies will sing and everything. So it's just a matter of being creative, being ready, kind of going with the flow, preparation. I'm a planner. So plan for that stuff, be ready, take advantage of the opportunities, celebrate the changes, even if you didn't vote for how it came at you. Just be ready.
And I want to I can see people coming in watching this show. Welcome, folks, to Money Truth Moments. If you're not following Judy, please do so at judycopenbarger.today. Today we have a fantastic. Well, actually, we have a summer series that we have been doing. We've talked about family stuff, so make sure you look at the previous episodes from the last couple of weeks. And today we are focusing on hot tips for business during the summer slump. And you mentioned something on there about just being creative, right? So let me ask you how. And this is something I think that a lot of businesses, it kind of goes in hand with pivoting, right? How can a seasonal promotion or events help re-engage customers? Like a lot of folks don't think about that either.
Yeah, well, it's just being creative. What do people want? In my business, I have a service business, so it's boring paperwork in office buildings, right? The financial services and estate planning services and lawyer stuff and tax stuff and all that. Not that exciting, but you can bring people into your community in fun ways. So we've done everything from cruises, client cruises, bring your friends and family, develop their relationships. And then, some of those turn into great friendships, some turn into business. Back in the day, we loved to farm and we loved to, graft trees and grow things and garden and all of that stuff. And we do quite a bit of that. But I remember one time we had a tree grafting party. In fact, we did 2 of them, but we brought in a specialist that was an expert at grafting trees and, fruit trees and put the woods together and how to do all that. And we brought in people. That was one of our most amazing events. And just being out in the yard doing things had nothing to do with our work, our professional work, but it brought people together and helped deepen and create new relationships that meant more business over time. And then they bring their friends and family and things like that. We did there used to be a show called the Antique Roadshow. You may have seen it, where people have
Yes,
this thing
I
in the
love that.
attic from grandpa and it was from the war, whatever. And then they get it evaluated and they say, here's the value for that. Some expert that knows it's like, wow, I didn't know it was like that. Well, we did an event like that. We had a dinner and we said, everybody bring an antique and bring a friend, right? So we invited clients and friends of the firm, but everybody there brought people. And so your ticket in was bring an antique and a friend, and it can't be the same. It can't be an antique friend, right? And we just had the best time, develop relationships. People got to know us. We got to know them because we are just as careful about the clients we choose than the clients being careful about the professionals they choose. And I think that needs to be a really good intentional relationship for sustainability. But we did that. So that was just fun. And we've done things like, wine pairings with Italian food, and you have the chef come out and talk to you. So it doesn't matter what you do. You can do creative ways to bring people together. If it's a service business and relationships are important, you want to do those things that people want to do. If you're a guy and you like to smoke cigars, go do a cigar smoking tasting thing. I don't know what guys do with cigars, but if it's about golf, bring your friends and golf. And I know golf is a big social way for people to professionally deepen relationships and create new ones. And it's something in common that has nothing to do with what you really do. So all those things, you can just be creative with that. I like to do what I like to do. So the things that I do is like, I was going to do it anyway. It's fun. And let's just invite other people to come celebrate with us. So that's one thing that you can do if you have a service business. If you have a product business, I think it's just a matter of getting with professionals, and I believe you should hire them. If you need marketing, if you have an online presence where you need someone to go out and find the people, find the audience for you, find the customers for you, hire a professional. I mean, that's you don't want to save that penny. What's the thing about a penny saved is a penny earned, and don't be dollar penny foolish. What is that? There's all those things. Penny wise
Yeah.
and dollar foolish, or dollar wise and penny foolish. I don't know. But you know what I mean? Don't not spend money that you need to spend to get to the next level in your business. You got your mindset, you've got the means to do it, you've got the resources to do it. You've got the you focused mentality. It's all about the clients. What do they need? What are they looking for? How do I provide that? How do I be the destination? And sometimes you need professional people that know how to find the eyes online, like you. That's a lot of things that you do, Carlos, for companies I know.
Yeah.
And so I think it's worth spending the money for people to find the people for you if your bailiwick is not the IT stuff or the tech stuff. It's doing whatever it is you do, providing your services, being brilliant, and scaling and distribution of your goods. And you can hire the marketing and hire the customer creation.
Right.
So many things you can do.
Yeah, and folks, thank you again for joining us this morning. But I have one quick question to ask you before we get towards the end of the show, and it's, what's the number one mindset shift that either business owners or entrepreneurs need to make for seasonal success?
Well, I think for any kind of success, not just seasonal and not just getting through the skinny times and not just dealing with, the ordinary flows of business where some is high and some is not so good. Sucky, some people, business term is, it was kind of sucky,
That's the
it's
legal
just,
term, right?
yeah, the mindset is it's possible. It's possible to get through the season. It's possible to weather the storm. It's possible to manage a new regulation that impacts my business, not in a good way. It's possible. And if it's not possible to do it the way I've been doing, it's possible to get to where I can do something to either scale, provide a new product line, a new service line, find new customers to scale the services that I do have available. The mindset is I can do this. I might need to deepen my bench of professionals that help me do it, whether it's marketing or legal or managing regulations or whatever it is in your business. But it's possible. Maybe it's just hiring the right people to, be out in the garage making your bailiwicks that you're selling, right? Whatever it is, get your team together, get the mindset together, and be a leader. If you're a business owner, an entrepreneur, you are a leader. So develop those leadership skills and, work those muscles and have the right mindset. And that will totally carry down all the way down. People follow you when you're a leader, all the way down to where you park your car. You'll notice people will start parking their car at the same place you do, right? They'll walk the same way. They'll show up the same time. They will follow your leadership. So get the mindset on right, get your team, and then lead your team, and you'll get there.
All right, folks, great advice. And we are at the tail end of our show, so you know what that means. It's our challenge time, and I always look forward to this. What do you got for us today?
Challenge time. We've got a hard skill and a soft skill today. The hard skill, the tangible thing that you can exercise right now is take a look at what you're saving for the opportunities in your business right now. If you're not saving at least 5% for not a rainy day, but an opportunity sunny day, work up. Maybe you start at 1% and then double it next year until you have 5% that goes into that bucket for when you need it and you want to take advantage of an opportunity. That's the hard skill challenge. The soft skill challenge is just to make a little list. I like pen and paper, a little list of some creative ideas to take your business to the next level. And if you do have a business that has a season, and maybe the summer season right now is like time, what can you do next year to be ready for something else? Maybe this is the time of season where you do some planning, where you do some extra marketing, where you add a product or service to your offerings, right? What can you do next year to not have a slump if you're in one now? How do you prepare for that? That's the soft side, the creative side. So you're going to have 5% at least that you're working toward for savings. You're going to have a plan for when it's not sunny day, and you're going to get there. That's your challenge.
All right, folks, you've heard the challenge. And if you want to add some additional, or you have additional questions or topics that you'd like Judy to address, please let us know. Send us a message. We'd be happy to feature that on here on another episode as well. And remember, we are here every Tuesday at 8 a.m. with the follow-up on Thursdays at 8 p.m. And if you're not following Judy, shame on you, people. No, I'm just kidding. Make sure that you are following her at Judy Copenbarger today. Judy, any last parting words?
No, just make it a great week. Enjoy the summer. And if it's a slump, take advantage of extra time for your family and your creativity. You're going to have a blast. Make it a great day.
Excellent. Until next week, take care of you guys.